Printing money is bad,
Hmm.
right? It's inflationary.
Hmm.
But borrowing printed money is insane.
On the whole Second Amendment, Las Vegas thing, I mean, the media, the left is out there more really talking, gun control stuff. It happens every time. As a Second Amendment kind of guy, do you think there should ever be restrictions on what you can buy as far as weapons?
No, I think if my neighbor wants a tank in his front yard, he should have one. Yeah, I
Really,
don't.
good
I
for
don't
you.
want to stop him,
So you're
even if
really
he aims the barrel at my house.
you're
I'm
really
not
a
gonna.
purist in that regard, huh?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Because
No,
your feeling is if the camel gets his nose under the tent,
yeah.
it
When the
just
federal
kind of.
government starts saying things like, "Well, we want to have weapons that we can have, but you can't,"
Hmm.
that way, ultimately, your right to defend yourself against us doesn't exist.
Hmm.
I want a government that fears me, fears the people. I don't want a government that's so smug and confident in its ability to run you over that they don't even consider that you might fight back, let alone limit the tools with which you can fight.
Was that not the whole idea behind the Second Amendment
That was
250 years ago?
the blood. The
Huh.
let's see, what was it?
Huh.
Jefferson said the tree of liberty must be refreshed with the blood of patriots and tyrants from time to time.
Ooh, that's
So
old Tom said that, huh?
yeah, yeah.
God love him.
The Minuteman, which is a
Hmm.
very famous statue by Daniel Chester French, one of the few sculptures I have in my office. The Minuteman, he's got his jacket laying on the plow,
Hmm.
and he's put down his plow, and he's now picked up his rifle, and he's ready in a minute to defend his nation against tyranny. Well, that's what the Second Amendment was all about, a citizen army ready to defend this nation against all who would usurp it, both all enemies, both foreign and domestic, I believe is the
Hmm.
phrase in the oath. So there are a lot of domestic enemies of the Constitution and of the United States, and I would put at the top among them those opponents of the Second Amendment. And I would say to you simply, if you are one of those people and you want to repeal the Second Amendment and you want to start gathering your votes and getting your citizens together, there is a mechanism to amend the Constitution. You can repeal the Second Amendment, and if you're successful in getting that done, then I will surrender my firearms. But until then, don't try to back end your way around it. You know, it's dishonest. You cannot amend the Constitution with some legislation. So don't think you can convince a bunch of congressmen and senators through some horrific mass shooting that we need it. And okay, it was 500 this time, and if we still don't get it, is it going to be 1,000 the next time? It's like how much do we have to endure before we finally acquiesce to what you really want, which is a repeal of the Second
Give
Amendment?
me your
Well,
guns. Yeah,
give me your guns. Yeah,
that's the thing.
we don't want our citizens to have guns because we got a bunch of laws planned for the next generation that are going to be much more severe than the ones burdening this generation.
It's also a bit of a disconnect if you look at the left calling President Trump the next Hitler, and he's going to come and take you away and lock you up and take all
Right.
your liberties, and
Yeah.
he's going to do all this, and he's just the devil. And by
Yeah.
the way, give us your
Give us your
guns.
guns. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. That's a little disconnect too.
Okay. Well, the Second Amendment is all about the first lines, right? A well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma. That's just a statement. And a militia, which is every able-bodied person that's not otherwise conscripted. So if you're not in the Army, you're not in the Air Force, you're not in the military of any kind, you're not in the police services, guess what? You're the militia.
We're the militia, huh?
And if the militia is required to defend this nation, well, again, who are you going to turn to? You going to go to government? Give me a gun so that I can defend the nation? No. You're not waiting for orders from headquarters. You're well regulated. You know how to shoot a gun. You have one. You have firearms and you have ammunition. You're ready to answer the call of your governor or your president. Every able-bodied man, grab whatever you have, and women, get a gun and meet us on the front lines. You, That's what the militia is all about. So it's almost like in Switzerland, the duty of every citizen to have a firearm, not the right. It is your duty to be ready in the event that the nation needs your service. And you're a Minuteman. You're supposed to be ready in a minute. And that readiness counts on you having your musket and your cartridge box and your powder and your shot. Don't wait for the government to provide it.
People argue that that's one of the main reasons why Hitler didn't mess around with Switzerland, right?
That's right.
Because they had like a
Guns
everybody
in
had a
every
gun.
corner. Everybody's in the army. Everybody's in the militia.
He said, "I'm not
That's
going
the
in
same
there,
reason
man."
the Japanese didn't invade the United States or made no thought of invading the United States. There's even a couple of those statements that, we
Really?
Americans have guns in every house. So
Really?
you're not gonna be going after a bunch of disarmed, frightened people. You're gonna be walking into a curtain of lead